What happened in that swing, that arc? I mean, was it just like utter devastation? I mean, talk to us about the feeling when you found that like it's not going to happen.
Man, this is where we're gonna get emotional, right? This is I can't think about this without crying every time. But man, that call, see, it's coming. But yeah, that call to my parents, week after telling them we were gonna have our first kid. It was just like this. I called my mom. She was super excited to talk to me, said hello. And I didn't say anything. I just started crying. And she knew instantly. But
Welcome back to another episode of the Like a Diamond podcast. This is a show where we come and we show each other our scars, the painful parts of our lives. We become vulnerable. And we talk about how trials and challenges and the suffering in our life can refine us. And that heat and pressure, if we let it, can shape us into a diamond. We all have trials. We all go through struggles. Some people's look different than others. But most important, I think, as we share those vulnerable moments with each other, true human connection happens. And we are very excited for our guests today. They're friends, neighbors, and stories that completely have inspired us. And we were like, when we were planning this podcast, we knew we needed these guests on this episode. Yep. And so we are so excited to introduce Mark and Jamie Johnson to the podcast. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes.
It's fun to be here. First podcast. That's awesome.
I know.
I feel like it's a huge treat to have you here.
I know.
And to hear your story.
And you guys are down the street. So
Yeah.
We're friends.
Yeah, we
right?
know each
This
other.
is
We're good.
comfortable.
We're chill.
We've known each other
Yeah.
for what, maybe
I know. How long have you lived?
7 years? So how long have you been here?
We moved in June
2019.
of 2019. So
Oh,
so we were
same month.
yeah,
same month.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize.
I didn't either.
I know.
Awesome.
So we've known each other a long time. And the story, the topic, let's just kind of set the topic for today, because I think there's a lot of people on the planet that could relate to this topic, right?
Yeah.
And why don't you introduce what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah. First, it's infertility and the struggles of being able to get pregnant. So before we dive into the heavy part, we want to know who you are, how you met. Let's kind of get into the
We
fun
need the
part
good
of
stuff
it.
first.
Yeah.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
I'll love it. Do you want to do it or I can do it?
Who tells the best version of the story?
We tell different versions, so I think that's
classic marital communication. Yeah, right. But who's better? I have a better version than hers.
okay.
Yeah, it's true.
So we met on Tinder, right? So this was in 2014. So I feel like that was like the first wave of like Tinder and apps and dating and finding every. So like we didn't know what we were doing. We were just swiping, right? Just every day, just swiping. And we'd probably only been on there a couple months. And I very vividly remember Jamie's picture popped up, swiped so hard. And honestly, I don't know if it was a match. I think like, because how it works is one person like swipes and they say like, I want to match with this person. And you don't get notified until the other person does the same.
So the waiting game.
So it's the waiting game.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that I swiped right first, and then it was just the waiting for that bing.
The bing.
I'm like,
yeah.
you got the match, right?
And this was back when the app was probably more wholesome. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Okay,
man.
maybe not. It's never been that.
So that's my side of the story. Is that
You were just looking for a hookup.
no?
I'm just joking.
That is not me.
That's
No,
not the side.
no. I think for me, because like those apps at the time kind of had a bad connotation, I was more like, I don't want anyone to know that that's how we met. And so I told people that we met at a bonfire, which is true. That was the first time we met in person.
Yeah.
And so for me, I felt like that's an accurate story. But my brother at our wedding luncheon shared that we met on Tinder and
Completely ruined the cover.
The
cover
secret
story
was out.
blown.
It's great though.
hilarious.
I don't know. I love that story. It's like, yeah.
Look, technology is here to help bring us closer. It also makes us more distant. But in this case, it brought you closer. Were you both in Utah at the time?
We were both in Utah, but I was moving to Arizona in about 3-4 months, something like that. So I had a timeline. So I was like, all right, match with this girl, beautiful, like started hanging out. It's like, all right, well, we got to see if this works or not, right? Like I'm not going to be here forever. So yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fast
Courtship.
Yeah,
how long did you date?
Dated, so when did we meet?
We met in
April.
March.
Was it March?
March.
So April, May, June, and I proposed in July.
Yeah.
then
So
we
it was
got married
really
in October.
fast.
So
And how old were both of you at that point?
I was 25, right?
I was 24, married up.
Attaboy.
That's right.
You knew it?
So did you still end up moving to Arizona?
Yeah, so we got married. Well, so I moved to Arizona. She moved all of her stuff down there. We got married. We moved down there. And then
Well, the week of the wedding.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You got a job offer.
the week of the wedding, I got a job
here.
offer in Utah. And so we got married, moved down to Arizona for me to quit.
Oh my gosh.
Stay there for a couple months and then move back to Utah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of whirlwind. Yeah. Your first marriage is enough, let alone moving twice. Yeah.
It was a lot, but it worked out. And I think I thought at the time, like, this isn't going to go anywhere. He already has a job offer in Arizona. I'm not going to uproot my life for him, just to have it not work out. So I think he understood that, we're either moving forward or we're done, because I'm not going to pick up.
So at what point did you know that you wanted to marry her? And what point did you know you wanted to marry him?
Honestly, so like before I moved to Arizona, we had been dating for a while and it was getting serious. I can't remember if we had talked about marriage, but it was really that me moving away to Arizona, distance makes the heart grow fonder. And then we just talked on the phone for hours and hours and every day. So it was like, wow, we can really connect just emotionally and verbally. Like we have that solid connection. We can communicate with each other really, really well. And that's hard to determine sometimes when you're in a relationship, physical relationship with someone. So it's like, wow, this could actually work. Yeah.
Did you have something?
I was just going to say, for me, like, I felt like Mark was always super respectful and just really cared about my feelings. And like, he would have flowers every Friday. Like, I could count on that.
Wow.
And unfortunately,
Bad
that hasn't
decision.
continued
Boom.
into
You set the
marriage.
precedent.
I set the bar
You set the
way
bar
too high. I gotta lower that bar. She reminds me about it a lot.
You remember that time when you used to give me flowers every Friday?
But I don't know, just little things like that. And he left to go back to his mission in the Dominican Republic with his dad. And he had noticed that I was running low on one of my favorite perfumes. And he left that with me before he left and wrote a little note on it. So just very thoughtful. And I hadn't experienced a lot of that previously. So
You knew what you wanted when you had him.
I think I was a little bit more hesitant than he was. Like I mentioned, he was moving, so I didn't really think anything was going to come of it. So, but he was consistent and persistent, I guess is a better word.
Yeah. That's good. You got to.
I know. I'm like,
Got to break him down.
Yeah.
So
So you had mentioned in our pre-interview that you're a planner. Mm-hmm. So are you a type A, like you like a little bit control and the organization, which is fine.
Yeah.
So when you got married, I'm sure you had a idealistic view of what your family would look like.
Oh, yeah.
Were you pretty like, okay, in 3 years, we're going to start trying to have kids. And then were you that far planning?
No, I don't think so. But like, we did things like we bought an SUV thinking, okay, like in the near future, we'll want to have kids. So we buy this SUV, have it for a couple years. Then I'm not so sad if kids like beat it up. And so, I mean, in that regard, I was planning a little bit, but I don't
You
think
didn't have a timeline.
we had, a timeline as much. So
Yeah, I mean, I always thought, okay, you get married, you're married for a couple of years, and then after a couple of years, you start trying to have kids. I think it was just the general.
So you got married October
2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then at what point did you say, all right, let's start trying?
Ish.
That's a great question. I think we started trying shortly before you finished graduate school.
Yeah, so I got married 2014. I started grad school in 2017. So it was one of those that's like, okay, we worked for 3 years. Typically, we probably would have started to have kids right now, but then it's like, okay, I'm just starting grad school. Like maybe let's focus on that because I don't know if that's going to take me across the country or where we're going to land up. So maybe as I start to end grad school, then let's try. I mean, we got married pretty young, so we were still, really young. So it seemed like that made sense. So it was like 2018-ish is when we thought, okay, let's start trying. We're getting close. Yeah.
Okay. So you start trying. Did you get pregnant right away?
No. So we tried for a year, and that was kind of the time in which we were told, like, if you try for a year and it's not happening, you kind of take those next steps. You see a reproductive endocrinologist, which is what we did. And I think at that time, I didn't know of any health concerns that would prevent me from getting pregnant. And so we weren't overly worried, I don't think, at that point. But yeah, we saw it had to have been after you graduated.
Yeah. So
graduate
we'd
school.
been
You had
trying
gotten
for
a
year.
job at
Yeah.
Adobe, I think, at the time. And so by that point, we had gone to a reproductive endocrinologist, and she had mentioned that I had endometriosis. However, she said, like, that doesn't keep people from getting pregnant all the time. So
Just make it a little trickier sometimes.
yeah, can make it trickier. They did all the testing, dye tests, blood work, all the tests, and she said, it's more or less unexplained infertility. So,
Which is a crazy concept, right? In this day and age of all the science that we have,
that's still
it's unexplained infertility. It's like how we've heard that story, I don't know, countless times.
Yeah.
Just
Like, no, tell me why it's not working.
There's a
yeah,
reason.
exactly.
Right.
Everything, the piping's all good, but it's just not working.
Yeah. And Mark they do like an analysis on him as well. And they said he had low morphology, which means like your semen is shaped, the amount of semen you have is shaped normally was low. But she also said that alone would not affect. So, yeah, we were a little bit shocked by that diagnosis. But yeah.
That'd also probably be a little frustrating. You're
yeah.
okay, so if there's not a reason,
Yeah.
Then
Now what?
do I
Right.
do?
Yeah.
Right.
Did they give any like, oh, maybe try this or try this? I'm sure they did.
Yeah. I mean, they recommended some supplements, which I think were more focused towards you, if I'm remembering right.
I
That
think so. And didn't they
CoQ10.
have you take like prenatal?
Had me take prenatal vitamins.
Yeah. And then other medications.
Clomid,
Yeah, like
was that a...
Clomid, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of when we started doing like the timed intercourse, which essentially is when you're doing Clomid. We did a different drug called Fermara, and they're essentially just tracking your cycle and seeing when you ovulate and then saying, okay, you ovulated this day, now you can have intercourse. I think it's 12, 24, and 72, or there's some increments that they tell you that.
Increased likelihood. Yeah.
Yes. And so that was kind of our next step, and what we did for probably a couple years, wouldn't you say, right?
Wow.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, because when did you get pregnant
So
first?
the first time I got pregnant was in February of 2020. So it was right before all the COVID.
So then that would have been like 2 years of us trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating.
Yeah. And I believe it was a month that we were taking off. We hadn't done any fertility treatments
Oh,
that
really?
cycle. So I
Classic.
got pregnant on my own. And we were so excited. We thought for sure this is it. Mark's parents had just left on a mission to Hawaii. And so we're like, oh, we're seeing the blessings of events.
we're doing it.
We're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
right. And we had just told them. And shortly after, I was at work and I was so embarrassed, but I went to the bathroom and had started bleeding and ran into a conference room and went and called Mark and said, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't think it's good, but yeah, this is kind of the situation. And my boss at the time, he was so awesome. He came in because he noticed I was pretty upset, and I hadn't told anyone because I was so early on. And so we went to a doctor pretty soon after, and she was like, everything looks good, but there's no sac, so you're miscarrying. So
Sorry to interrupt. How long had you been pregnant, or before you found out, and when this happened? Do you think ish?
Let's see.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it was early on.
It was early,
We
yeah.
estimate you're probably around 6 weeks, so
Gotcha.
super early on.
Super early.
Yeah, super.
But from the time we found out you were pregnant to the time you miscarried, was that like it was like a week or
It
so?
wasn't very long that we knew, yeah.
But man, that week
Oh, yeah.
was
Oh, 9.
the best week ever. You know, and I know a lot of people, they wait until, okay, you get through the first trimester to tell people in case anything happens, but we had been trying for so long. It's like we just could not wait to tell our parents.
That's big news.
It's huge news.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't wait to start. You know, we immediately started looking at like baby clothes and you know, stuff like that. I think we bought like a baby book even as well. And
That's how we told our parents.
Yeah, we gave them like a little baby book.
Little
Yeah.
baby book.
So your parents are the only ones that knew at this point, or had you told any other family or friends?
We might have told
I
siblings.
think I actually told one of my friends that they had gone through, you know, the fertility journey as well. It had succeeded for them, and we had been talking to them for a while, and so I was just super excited to tell them, like, hey, it worked for us too. Like, we're so excited. So I think we told him, maybe one or two others.
We kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah, I mean,
outside
hindsight,
family.
probably shouldn't have told anyone, but
Yeah.
man, we were so
You're
excited.
so excited. I mean, I can't imagine the swing of emotions from years of no, and not knowing, wondering, to, like you said, cloud 9. Like, what happened in that swing, that arc? I mean, was it just like utter devastation? I mean, talk to us about the feeling when you found that, like, it's not going to happen.
Man, this is where we're gonna get emotional, right? And this is, I can't think about this without, you know, crying every time. But man, that call, it's coming. But yeah, that call to my parents, you know, week after telling them we were gonna have our first kid. It was just like this. You know, I called my mom. She was super excited to talk to me, said hello. And I didn't say anything. You know, I just started crying. And she knew instantly, but
It's rough.
so
How are you able to support each other when you both were hurting?
That's a great question. I don't know. You just kind of feel numb at that point. You know, you're in it together, right? But I think there was just, you know, you have this righteous desire for so long, and you just think, okay, now is our time. It's going to work out. It was really hard to support the other person. I think, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
For me, the best way to support each other, we just had to suffer together. We just had to be sad together. We had to be pissed off together. You know, we just had to experience those things and just be together. It wasn't me trying to say words of encouragement to her or her to me. It was just, we were in it together.
You allowed yourselves both to be sad.
Yeah.
And to grieve.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting. Mark is big into doing like races and marathons, and he just did the Spartan race on Saturday. And I was asking him, like, what's the hardest physical thing you've ever done? He's like, oh yeah, that race for sure was super hard, right? Like that of all the races. And I was like, okay, what about emotionally? Like was the hardest thing? And, you know, no questions. He was like, that first miscarriage was the hardest. And Mark is not one to cry at all.
No.
Since having Brady, I've seen a couple more tears than I was used to.
It doesn't
Because he's tired.
It doesn't.
That's
take
just because he's
much.
tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say like that rocked both of us. But I've never seen the emotion from him until we went through that. So
Yeah.
So you mentioned first miscarriage.
Mhm.
That was unfortunately not the only miscarriage
Yeah.
that you had to experience. Can you walk us through the
rest of the journey, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. So you want to take this or you want?
Yeah, I mean, so what we got pregnant outside of any sort of fertility treatments, miscarried, took a couple months off, and then started trying on our own again. Nothing happened. And then, you go back to the endocrinologist and it's like, okay, well, next steps after timed intercourse is IUIs. You need to do 3 of those, unsuccessful IUIs, and then we can go to the next step of IVF. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we did the 3 IUIs unsuccessfully. And then after that, we were like, you know what? We just need a break again. Like emotionally, physically, let's just take a break. Because even IUIs, that's very, very taxing on Jamie's body, and, everyone reacts differently, but for Jamie's body, it's very, very taxing on her, all those medications. And so it was in, again, that break period where we weren't doing any fertility treatments that we got pregnant again.
It was like it was prepping you for when
Yeah,
you were
it's like,
off.
what is going on here?
interesting?
How long ago? How long after?
I feel like it was
about 2 years.
After the first miscarriage?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because it was in December of 2022. So yeah, almost 3.
Yeah.
I mean, that was another drought of 2 years. Like that's
Yeah.
another long valley of
Yeah.
heat.
Yes.
I think it was December of 2021.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I started my new job in 2020. So it was
Okay.
December of 2021.
Okay.
So
Still a year.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're a year. So yeah,
year
took a
and
couple
that's-
months off, then get back into it. So yeah, still a year. And again,
That one was interesting because, we're still in COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
And Mark got invited, I think, to a basketball game. Do you remember that?
yeah.
You got invited to a game, and I was like, this is not a great thing for him to be going to with COVID going on. It was kind of in that gray area where it was like, you can go if you're vaccinated and, you're not sick. At that time, we might have even been testing, like, are you positive or negative for COVID? But, got to live your life too.
Yeah.
So he went, and I think he got COVID from...
Yeah, but I don't think that's what caused the miscarriage.
No, but we found out shortly after that I was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
and then miscarried pretty shortly after that. I think we were around 5.5 weeks.
Yeah, again,
I
like super,
remember
super short.
very
So like
early on.
within a week.
Early.
And again, we did the same. We probably should have learned from the first round, but again, we did the same thing, right? We were like, okay, it finally worked after 3 years. So we told her parents. I vividly remember her dad like tearing up when we told them and then yeah, same thing happened.
I mean, were you more guarded this time, or were you just as excited now with a little thing in the back saying it could happen?
I think we were more guarded. And I think
Yeah.
the frustrating thing about it is that Mark was working at Adobe at the time and had gotten a new job offer. And I think that
Oh, I was literally on the call accepting my job offer when you got a call from the nurse.
Yeah.
Because at that point when you get a positive pregnancy test, you do blood work. You do your initial blood work, and then you go in either the next day or a couple days later to make sure that your levels are rising.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was on the call accepting my job offer, she got a call from the nurse saying like, "I'm sorry, you're going to miscarry. Your
Your
levels
numbers
are going down."
Yeah. So it was so hard because at Adobe, they had all these amazing benefits, and we're like, we're pregnant. We're not going to need these benefits. And I think his new company had okay benefits as well, but we had kind of planned like, oh, okay, we're pregnant. Like we aren't going to need all these fertility benefits. So that was super frustrating because, he was on a call accepting his job. I'm getting a call saying this isn't going to work out. And it's just, yeah, a lot of disappointment. we got COVID after you went to that game, and then I think we were like miscarrying over Christmas. We didn't end up going down to spend time with the family that was all gathering in Vegas. So it was a pretty rough week.
Not the best Christmas we've had.
No,
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. So that was the second and only other time that I've gotten pregnant. So
Okay.
But you had then tried IVF after?
So let's see, we did the 3 IUIs and none of those worked. And so the doctor said, at this point, like IVF is kind of the next step. Your chances of conceiving through IUI go down after the 3rd one. So we kind of thought about it and had decided like this is probably like our only route at this point. So let's see, we did IVF.
Well, like after that miscarriage, it was the second one. It was the same thing where it's like, okay, let's take some time off from it. And then, we went back at it again and no success. So after that second miscarriage is probably, was it another year of us
Probably.
trying something like that? We were just, I don't know. We thought, hey, both times we got pregnant, we're on our own without fertility treatments. That's worked. Those medications are really hard on her body. It's hard on everyone. It's hard on the family, and you have to go to all the doctor's appointments. Like it's a lot. So let's just take some time, try and do this on our own. So yeah, it's probably another year that we're trying.
So then we did IVF in, was it March of 2024? Does that sound right? Yeah.
No, because Brady was born in 2024.
Right. So it was March of 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so we did like the egg retrieval and everything. And we were so excited because I had not done well with the hormones previously. My doctor said, okay, you can do what's called a mini stim IVF, where you're taking less medications, not as many shots. You'll still have some level of success, but probably not as much as someone doing full-blown IVF. She said, you'll maybe get 1 embryo out of this. And I'm like, you know what? I have not done very well with the hormones, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And we did it, and I think we got 8 embryos.
Wow.
And so we were just blown away because, I did a less intensive IVF protocol, and we got these 8 embryos, and unfortunately 3 of them were genetically abnormal. So those can never be, we will not ever transfer those embryos, but we had the 5. And due to how things went with IVF, I was pretty much bedridden, and
Yeah, it's hard because we have these 5 healthy embryos.
Yeah.
Just doing the egg retrieval was like horrible. And I mean, it's horrible on everyone, but like James said, she was pretty much bedridden during that time.
I'd lost all this weight. Like I couldn't eat because I was so bloated, and I was not in a great place. And so
yeah, then it's like, okay, well, we have these embryos. What are our options? Obviously the first option is to transfer to Jamie, but it's like, okay, well, we need to give your body a little bit of a break too before we do that, or, started looking at other options as well.
Interpersonally, marriage-wise, I could see how it could be easy if there's like resentment or blame or things just like there's so many challenges, your health. Like, did you feel that? And if you did, it's totally natural. But like, talk to us about that part of the marriage where at this point you've been married, almost 8 years or 7 years? Yeah. Right? So you've had a lot of time on your own to build, but then there's been push and pull and things brought you together. And I'm sure there's been, things pushing you apart. What was that like?
Sucked. It was one of those things. I mean, Jamie can speak for herself. I don't think we ever cast blame on each other.
Yeah.
I think we cast blame on everyone else. Okay. It was just like, all right, we're in this horrible situation, and we're just like, it feels like you're in this like glass dome and you're just looking out at everyone that has families and you're just pissed off at everyone. And people that have good intentions, they haven't done anything bad. They're just living, like, you just see someone walking along living their life with their kid. You'd be super upset at them, super pissed off. It's like, why does this person get to have a kid?
And I think being in a church that's so family centric, you start going to church and that's all that's talked about is building a family. And it's like, okay, yeah, we want that too, but it's just, you're constantly reminded of it.
All the time.
I think that was really hard. I think especially like Mother's Day, Father's Day, I'm like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
I have my 2 angel babies from miscarrying, but it was hard. And it was hard to not feel a little bit angry with God.
Of course.
A lot angry.
Yeah. So
What happened to that relationship with God? I mean, I'm sure nonstop prayers for 7 years. This is like the most true desire of your heart to be a parent. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And being angry at God is okay. We talk about that. Like, it is
talk
so
about this
healthy to be angry at God
with
if
everyone.
you need to. Yes. What
Yeah.
was the spiritual journey for you guys like?
Honestly, a lot of that spiritual journey just left, right? Because after praying for so long and like trying to exercise faith for so long and it doesn't happen, it's just, honestly, it's easier just to give up, right? And so it's like, that relationship with God completely, not 100% dwindled, but for the most part, it was there. Like, I
think it was a different experience for you than it was for me.
Yeah, I think I was angrier than Jamie was. Yeah,
Understandably.
And I think I clung to my faith a little bit, even though I was angry and I kept expecting to receive answers in some other way. Whereas I felt like Mark was more guarded and maybe distant a little bit and angry,
So
frankly.
what did that look like when you say you were more anchored in your faith?
I think I just I still wanted to show up to church. I still wanted to do, all the primary answers, right? Like reading scriptures and, attending the temple, all those kind of things. I think they were more out of reach for me at that point, but I still had the desire. Whereas Mark
wanted nothing to do with it, honestly.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It was definitely a interesting time for both of us in that regard.
But the separate paths of that spiritual, did that create any resistance between the two of you? Or were you able to undersee it for what it was and just accept it? Or did it, again, was there any, and I'm not trying to air your dirty laundry. I'm trying to help other audience members understand that the dynamics can be anywhere. Like, you grieve different, you're mad at each other, mad at God, you don't understand each other,
Oh, it 100% drove a wedge in our marriage. Like, absolutely. Like, there is, you just start going through the motions and you become roommates just because, I don't know, you're, like I said, you're not resentful to the other person, but you're just done, like, and it's hard to continue to put in the effort when you're just like emotionally just done.
Yeah.
And so you're just there, present, and I'm not giving her what she needs. She's not giving me what I need. And 100% causes a wedge. It's
interesting. At the very beginning, you just said your communication was really good.
right.
But that was based on a very shallow experience with each other, right? That's how we all are. Until the really hard things come in, then you don't know how to put your emotion into words, and you don't know what you want and communicate what you need, and you're both done. And so why give each, it's hard.
Yeah. And I think men are so different than women too. I mean, at least in my experience, Mark wanted to keep a lot in and I wanted to talk. Yeah. And I think that's tricky too, because I was needing him to be, have that communication with me, and he just kind of wanted to be quiet about things. And I think, that was hard because it seemed like there was no resentment between each other, but I do feel like there was some tension a little bit, just okay, like we're still going to be like, go to church. We're still going to do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, James, like, this is what I'm going through. This is how I'm coping with it. And we just didn't see eye to eye. Yeah. So it was really hard. Yeah.
So what would you say? What would your advice be to the other couples who are dealing with a very similar situation, feelings?
That is a very hard question. And mainly because I was thinking about this, like, okay, you know, what was helpful when I was going through that time? What was not helpful? Yeah. And for me, I was just in a spot where I was like so angry that nothing was helpful. It didn't matter what you said or didn't say. If you had kids, I didn't want to hear it, really. You know, so it's hard for me to give advice because we do have a child now, and you know, there's other people that haven't been able to do that. So it's like, okay, well, what am I going to say that's helpful to you because we have a kid?
Yeah, we have a miracle.
I don't.
That's candid.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair.
I don't know. I mean, just someone to say that, hey, I love you and I'm thinking about you, and give you a hug. Mm-hmm. Like that's really.
And I do think, again, I've said this a couple times, but I do think men don't have the support system as much that women have. And so it was hard because Mark didn't feel like he could really talk to anyone about it. Whereas, you know, I'm talking to friends about this is what we're going through, and, you know, they can understand and relate, and just kind of that same idea of him being more closed off and it just not really talked about among men, at least in our experience. Yeah. Versus like, I feel like I had kind of some support from some friends that had been through it, or, you know, just I was close with at the time. So So
I have another question, and I hope it's not getting too personal again. And it is for
I'm an open book.
It is for our audience as well, because I have heard from other people who have gone through infertility and they've gone through IVF that intercourse or sex, it just becomes very monotonous, or it becomes a chore. Like, we have to do this in order to get pregnant.
Yeah.
And the intimacy part is kind of gone.
Yeah.
I'll let you answer this one.
I know.
I could talk about this for a while.
How do you get that back? Yeah. What do you say to those, I don't know, in the middle of it, or you just got to get through it and then you can work on that later? Like, what? I don't know. What do you?
Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy. Like when the nurse first tells you, like, all right, you need to have intercourse.
You're like,
3 times. It's like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. My whole marriage.
Everyone's dream right here. Let's go. This is what we all want.
But I mean, after you know, a couple months of that, when it changes from being something that you know, creates a strong bond between you and your spouse, that brings you closer together as a special moment, when it just becomes a chore of just like, okay, we just have to do it, like check the box, like it doesn't become fun. You know, I don't know, it's hard. And when, you know, month after month after month after not having any success, you know, you have your timed intercourse during the time that you need to, and then it's like, you know, there's not a lot in between. Yeah, because it's hard, because it's like, okay, just check the box, which is a really weird thing. As a guy, you think like you would never get tired of intercourse, like, right? But you do. Like, it becomes,
it's a chore.
It's a chore. You just feel like, oh, all right, let's do it.
So how do you get it back? How do you get that spark back?
I think just time.
Yeah.
I think one thing that was really tricky for us was trying to decide what months we were going to pursue treatments versus taking a break. And, you know, a lot of times those were different for me and Mark, because he was like, go, 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 let's do this. We got to get this baby here. And I was like, I just need a break. Like, I cannot take another test and have that failure come, that result. And so I think, like, my biggest advice would be, like, try and support your spouse in wherever they're at. If they need a month off or a couple months off, like, allow them to do that, because it can be grueling to go through it month after month. And when nothing's working, it's like you've got to have that space just to like allow your relationship to heal in multiple ways.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
your body too.
Yeah, I mean, the same concept of like when you're married, you need date nights, even though you spend all your time together. Like you need to set that dedicated time for a date night. It's like during fertility, you need a date month, right? A date month or a couple date months where it's like, okay, we're just going to go back to us being us. We're not going to worry about testing for ovulation or going to the doctor. We're just going to try and date ourselves again this month.
Yeah.
That's a great great
That's
advice.
great advice.
Well, and you said something, Jamie, that I kind of want to rewind just a second. I think you're right. I think a lot of women that have experienced miscarriages, there could be that shared connection.
Yeah.
But the man doesn't have, like, you were equally as devastated. Your body didn't go through it. You were totally devastated that you lost on that first child, right? There's not a lot of conversation about that. And you're right, guys shut down, they hold it in. It's not okay to be emotional. Maybe there are support groups. I've never Googled it. Yeah. Men who have endured miscarriage, but where's the emotional help there? It's like you lost a child too, but no one sees it, no one knows, and all of the attention goes to you, which a lot of it should. But there's some weight there that you can't shed unless you therapy or talk about it.
Yeah, and it's weird because like you want the support, but you also don't want to go out and get the support. Yeah. You know, like you want it to come to you, but you don't want
to broadcast it.
Broadcast it. It's a weird concept. So it's I don't know, but that was hard. Yeah, to not feel like there's really any support for men. And again, I'm sure there are support groups out there, but I was never one to go out and seek them. But.
Right. Do you think? Well, let me ask a different question, because I'll get to the other question. We've been in a scenario where you are the recipient of very, well, maybe not even well-intended bad advice or comments. Let's maybe have some fun or get mad for a second. What were the kind of comments or things that people would do or say that you would just get pissed? Like, oh my gosh.
How dare you say that?
How dare you?
I'll let you go first because there's a lot for me.
There's so many. I think one of the ones that stuck out to me was a realtor that we were when we were looking for the house that we're in now. She said, "Oh, well, how old are you guys?" And I can't remember at the time. We were probably
27, 28, something like that. Yeah,
late 20s, and like, "Oh, you guys have any kids?" And we said, "No." And she said, "Oh, well, by that age, I had 5 kids."
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, okay, that's not really a helpful comment, but those happen more frequently than you would ever guess.
Sure.
I think a lot of people have really good intentions.
Yeah,
I think
everyone has good intentions. Everyone's trying to help.
Yeah. I think a lot of times it's easy for people to say this worked for my sister and this worked for my aunt's wife's dog. I don't know.
So you just got to try this certain combination of medicines and then do this certain acupuncture.
And then put your legs up on the bed at some time. This position. Like,
yeah.
Like,
or like certain diets, like, or didn't work. And then our friend started eating this or like changed their diet. And then, bam, they got pregnant. And yeah.
I think, that was hard. And like I said, I do know people mean well. And some of my closest friends even said things like that. And I think also how it's delivered makes a huge difference too. But yeah, over the years, I think one word party, they wanted Mark and I to be Mary and Joseph. And I'm like, we don't have,
Like that
our
feels
little
cruel.
miracle baby here. And so it's like,
did you do it or did you pass?
We did not do it. Yeah.
Thank you for saying no.
We said no.
Yeah. And I honestly don't think that, the people that were even considering doing that knew about what we were going through at the time. And so, we have to be mindful of that, people aren't trying to be hurtful. It's just.
But it stings.
And like I said, for me, like everything was hurtful if you had kids, just because I was in that state mentally where I couldn't accept anything because it worked out for someone else. Like, so didn't matter what you said to me, I didn't want to hear it. But I think the worst ones were anything that had to do with having faith or, God's plan or, this or that, anything like that. It's like, dude, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, that's so
second
annoying.
of that. Yeah.
You're just not praying. Just keep praying harder. Read your scriptures more. It's like middle finger, I bet, right? That's not what I need to hear right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a place for prayer and there's a place for faith, but like, yeah, I get it.
Okay. We've talked about all the heartache and the hardship. At what point did you decide surrogacy was even in? How did you even start talking about that and decide that's something you wanted to do?
Do you remember what kind of?
No, I think it was just we did the egg retrieval, and then it was like, okay, we have these embryos. We have one of two options. We can implant that embryo into Jamie, or we could implant that embryo into somebody else. And I know how hard it's going to be on Jamie and how hard it's already been on her. And she's still recovering. Like, she's not in a great place mentally. So it's like, okay, well, maybe let's just look at this other option and see what that entails. We didn't really know anyone that went through surrogacy. It's like, okay, well, let's just research it a little bit. Yeah.
And we had considered, we didn't mention this, but we had considered adoption at one
We
point
talked
too.
to a couple adoption agencies. And
So, that was something that we had always talked about, but it was similar in cost to pursuing surrogacy at the time. And so,
Surrogacy and private adoption? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
yeah. So, so I think we had just kind of like loosely talked about it.
yeah.
Shortly afterwards, and in talking with our doctor, she's like, you need a recommendation in order to do surrogacy from a doctor, which I'm more than happy to give you. And so,
Is there like a website of like, here's like, what would even be the next step
I think we called
in research?
I think we called the fertility clinic because there's one of two ways for surrogacy is you reach out to an agency and say, hey, we're interested in surrogacy. And they say, okay, great, give us all your details and a bunch of money. And, we'll try and find a surrogate for you. And, it could take a while, it could take a year. It just depends. There's a lot of people on this waiting list. So there's that. Or you go the private route and,
call like independent.
yeah,
route.
independent and, do it on your own, or you find someone on your own.
So did you end up on a waiting list? Was that?
Yeah, we were on a waiting list with our fertility clinic. So
just because I think they said it would be like a year.
till-
And so we weren't sure if we were going to do surrogacy or not. So like, oh, if it's a year waiting list, just put our names down
Yeah.
and
And see what happens.
and see what
It
happens.
didn't cost you any money to get on the waiting list.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not at that point. Yeah. Well, how did it get from on the waiting list to having a conversation with our other guest? And then we'll transition.
yeah. Do you want me to tell?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay. Again, like we had only thought about it. We weren't like going down that path pretty hard. We were just out and about walking our dog. That's probably how we met you guys, walking our dog. It's just, that's what we did. We didn't have kids. So we walked our dog every single day, multiple times a day, just around the neighborhood to get to know people. And so we ran into some neighbors that we had probably talked to them maybe just a couple times then. Enough for them to know that we were going through some fertility treatments, enough to know that they had some family members that had also gone through fertility treatment. So it was just a casual conversation of like, hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. What's new? And we just mentioned that, Jamie had just finished an egg retrieval not too long ago. We have these embryos. We're trying to decide what to do. We've thought about surrogacy, or we've thought about implanting into Jamie, but that's just kind of where we're at right now. And without any hesitation, she said, "Oh, I'll do it. If you want to do surrogacy, I'll do it."
It just fell into place
so
easily. And it was.
We're just like, what? You serious? Like that's.
Yeah, that almost is like, don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Don't joke.
Right.
Yeah, and no, she I think we maybe thought that she was kidding, or it was just like, oh, hey, that's a nice gesture. Like, oh, I would carry for you guys.
Yeah.
But then she looked at us like, no, really, like, I'll carry for you. Yeah.
Well, and we had, at that point, I think we missed this part. We had actually taken pictures because we were going to post. That's what our clinic told us to do is if you want to try and move the process along, get a post on social media to announce that you're looking for someone to carry. And so we had just barely taken those pictures with the intent of posting something on social media, and we had like written up what we wanted to say. And then we had that conversation. So,
So before we kick Mark off the show, your life has obviously changed.
Yeah.
I want you to have a chance to talk about the most beautiful baby boy. What has changed in your life, and where has your head gone?
Well, I guess like the first one with all of us together, or what doctor's appointment?
I guess the one I have in mind is hearing the heartbeat.
Hearing the heartbeat. Honestly, I don't know if I remember that appointment that well. We were pretty emotional.
I think we had taken a recording of it.
Did we? Oh, I think we did.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did. Yeah. So I mean, I remember the day we implanted the embryo very, very well. Yeah, transferred the embryo. And then I think after we got the positive pregnancy test, after that, the rest just kind of seemed like a blur, because it was just like, we did it. It was just that like sigh of relief. And I do remember that appointment a little bit with the heartbeat, but I just remember like as soon as that pregnancy, was positive, and we all knew it was going to work out. Like we just had this feeling like it was just going to work out the first time. And I don't think we ever had any, trepidations of there might be a miscarriage. I think it just all worked out. It all fell into place.
Everything was so smooth.
It's kind of weird how smooth everything went.
It's incredible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. My life has changed, and it's hard again, because now I'm in this spot where I have a kid and I'm talking about it. And I know people might be listening that don't have kids. And, we did have a fertility journey, but it's hard because I know there's people that their fertility journey was much worse, much longer. They've had 7, 8, 9 miscarriages. It's hard for me to talk to that because we didn't quite experience that. I mean, everyone's fertility journey is hard.
Yeah.
And also different too.
All so different. I mean, I honestly feel guilty talking about Brady, just because. Yeah, I mean, it's best thing that happened to us, and my heart breaks for those that haven't been able to experience that.
But tell us about him. Who is Brady?
Yeah.
Dude, this little kid is me to a T. He is my mini me, and I love it so much. So he's 2 years old. He's got a fantastic golf swing. He
That's all that matters to Mark, by the way.
He can hit.
Get away to that, yeah.
He can hit the ball a mile every day. It's like, even today, he grabbed a big ladle out of the kitchen drawer, just swung it like a baseball bat, and goes, home run, and just swings so hard. And it's like, dude, I love this. I always wear hats backwards. You cannot put a hat on him with the bill facing frontwards. He will take it off, put it on backwards immediately. He is my mini me to a T. He's insane. He's crazy.
He's a 2-year-old.
He is a 2-year-old, and he is the most vocal 2-year-old that you'll ever meet. Does not stop talking or singing. And he is so hard right now. The tantrums of like, I don't know, giving him the banana the wrong way.
Yeah.
It is so hard. But man, those moments when you put him to bed and he just reaches his arms up and he just wants you to cuddle him.
Big squeeze.
That's what he called it. Just a
Aw.
big squeeze. That moment is worth, the years, the dollars, the heartache, the anger, the resentment, everything.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you could love someone like him?
No, and
All the heartache. Did you ever see that love in the future and like could that be possible?
No, I mean, you hear it, right, from everyone that has parents. You hear it, but you don't understand it whatsoever. I couldn't. I tried to think about that moment. I tried to have optimism sometimes, like it can work out. I just need to get to that moment. But you don't know until you're in that moment holding your child. And it really is indescribable.
That's beautiful. One last question. The trials, the heat, the pressure, the grieving, the anger at God, all of that gave you an opportunity to show and build a character maybe you didn't know you had, right? Show sides of you that you didn't know were possible. Also showed the resilience you didn't know was possible. How would you say your personal infertility process as the husband? I don't know, maybe you don't know if you're a diamond yet, but how has that shaped you? How has that refined you as a person?
It's a great question, and I don't know if I have a good answer to it. First, it's just made me realize that no matter how much I push God away and am angry and pissed off, he still loves me. I could swear his name 1,000 times over, want nothing to do with him, and he still loves me. And I think, that is the most important thing, because I'm going to experience more trials in the future. Hopefully none that are worse, but probably I will, and I don't know. I definitely don't feel like I'm in a spot where, I can just tackle any challenge that comes my way, right? But I know that no matter what, I have a loving Heavenly Father, and that I can come out on the other end,
I'll say, in my experience, like, you're a totally different person. I mean, you have a desire to love and serve others.
Cry a lot more.
More so, well,
Cry a lot more.
That's given. But I feel like now that we've gone through this journey and we're getting back into it here very shortly, you have the ability to care for others more so than you did before.
That's true. It's definitely softened my heart and made me more empathetic towards others and their trials than before I started it. And, I think for both of us, it's made us just take a step back and think twice about what is someone else going through. Because, there are a lot of things that happen to us that, like Jamie said, people had great intentions, and they were just going about their lives, being normal people, being normal parents, being normal friends. And some things were hurtful to us, but we know that they had great intentions, and there's no ill in doing that. But I think us having gone through this allows us to maybe take that second to think, okay, maybe, what is someone else going through right now that we don't know? That could be deep down that they're experiencing. Yeah.
I love that.
I love that.
We're not done with Jamie,
I know.
but I know.
He doesn't get to go anywhere quite yet.
But I can't help see Mark with his little boy Brady and just smile.
I know.
I just want you to know that. From the outside, sorry. See, this is where I cry. I knew a little bit of your struggle. I didn't feel it. But I see you with your son, and I smile because I know that there was a lot of pain, and he is your miracle baby, and he's the joy that came out of it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable and crying with me.
Of course.
Men should cry more, right?
100%.
Yes, come on.
100% they should. Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly. Yeah, you're welcome.
This is only the first half of Mark and Jamie's story. In episode 9 next week, we'll continue with the incredible surrogacy journey that brought Brady into their family and hear from the woman who helped make it all possible. Be sure to join us next week for the conclusion.